coming up on NAIT NewsWatch. Canadians may be heading to the polls again this spring.
It's not necessary, but Harper's playing games, and unfortunately that's politics.
Recent weather changes causes Edmonton crews to take over the streets.
Well, with the spring extending itself, this winter season, spring is extending itself. It seems every day we get.
Upgrades to the LRT system may quicken your morning commute.
We said we'd deliver, and the guys have completed the work, so rush hour should be a lot better for people in the morning.
NAIT NewsWatch starts now. Good evening. After much anticipation, the federal Conservative government was defeated on Friday.
The week started with the opposition parties refusing to support the federal budget, and then the Liberals made a motion for a non-confidence vote. The end result? Voters are now expected to go to the polls this spring. Elizabeth Sogalis has more on that story.
It's been a busy week in Parliament, and all signs are pointing to a spring election. As candidates are preparing their issues, they're also renting out office space, printing out signs, and even renting out tour buses.
It started on Tuesday when the federal government presented its budget. Not much will change for the average Canadian. The federal government proposed to pay up to $40,000 of a medical student's tuition and $20,000 of a nursing student's tuition if they decide to practice in rural areas where they are needed most.
All of the difficulties that come with living in a rural town just might not be enough with 20 grand.
When you're done school, yeah, it's incentive money, but at the same time, you're going to be making a lot of money, so I feel like the decision itself would pretty much be based upon what you actually want.
Although the budget is set to be scrapped, some other items proposed in the budget are families who put their child in an arts program would receive tax credits up to $500, a Helmets to Hard Hats program to help ex-military members to find work in the construction industry, and elimination of mandatory retirement for federally regulated employees. Earlier this week, the Alberta government raised concerns about the changes in tax measures to the oil and gas sector.
Okay, and they're moving in terms of reducing some of the tax incentives that were there in place. And if I stand to be corrected, but I think there's something like $140 billion worth of investment in the oil sands. The oil sands are going to carry the Canadian economy.
The budget, along with the threat of a non-confidence vote, all point to a spring election in Canada.
It's not necessary, but Harper's playing games, and unfortunately that's politics.
Elections are, even though they can be inconvenient, are always a good thing.
On Friday, Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff said enough is enough already and Canadians need to go to the polls. Jack Layton, NDP leader, is set already to have a stop here in Edmonton this weekend on his campaign tour. And Prime Minister Harper's Conservatives are hoping to emphasize a little bit on the Canadian Economic Action Plan in hopes of winning the majority government.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That's Elizabeth Zogalis reporting.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
The city feels more people and more money are needed to help out the pothole problem.
Crews have already been assembled and spread throughout the city, but this is just the beginning of a long process of repair to our damaged roads. Our Mike Baden joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
It's been a constant headache for drivers since the first warm period this winter, and city crews have their work cut out for them due to the deep potholes on the roads.
NAIT student Corey DiBartolo has hit his fair share of potholes and feels that people in smaller vehicles have a bigger disadvantage.
Well, I've gone over potholes and bottomed out my car probably 10 times this year, so I don't know. I just got my muffler fixed, so hopefully that stays on there for a while.
Not only do potholes cause damage to your vehicle when you hit them, but drivers who swerve to avoid them also make the roads dangerous.
I've had people turn into my lane, cut me off because they've had to avoid them, so I don't know. Kind of sucks.
The extreme freeze-thaw cycle has increased the city's potholes from an average of 400,000 to approximately 450,000 citywide.
Well, with what they're using a hot mix asphalt right now, and I mean, given the condition of this pavement, it will carry us through the fall point. Actually, hot mix repair is considered permanent repair and it will last many years.
To tackle these potholes, the city budget is $5.9 million, up slightly from the $5.8 budgeted for last year. Some sections will need to be repaved instead of just patched as part of the neighborhood rehabilitation plan.
Well, that varies from day to day, but I said we have 10 of these pothole trucks, another 5 spray patch units that as soon as the weather is favorable, we'll get them out. And then we're also running guys on the afternoon shift, night shift with their trailer unit that can carry temporary patch material, and they're out at nights as well.
It may feel bad this year, but back in 2007, there was more than 600,000 potholes that needed to be repaired.
Mike, will the current weather affect the pothole repair process?
Yeah, they're actually putting in a temporary patching material right now. That is used because the water left in the cracks can lift when vehicles drive over it. Those, however, might be there for about 6 to 8 months until a permanent repair can be made.
And is there anything that the public can do to help out with the pothole situation?
Yeah, they're encouraging people to go to edmonton.ca/potholes to submit your pothole report so they can get fixed as soon as possible.
Thanks, Mike. That's Mike Baden reporting live from our news center tonight.
All the drastic changes in weather this season have resulted in unfavorable conditions both on the streets and on the sidewalks. City officials are stressing the importance of cleaning your walks with the rapid freeze-thaw patterns this time of year.
We just want to remind people that while there may not be a particular bylaw legislation that we can use on private property, it's still really important to do your best to keep those sidewalks clean for our service providers, our letter carriers, our refuse collectors, and our ATCO meter readers.
To help ensure everyone's safety, it's asked that you leave a clear sanded path to your ATCO meter, your mailbox, and your garbage for collection. Free sand can be picked up at most local community leagues.
We're just asking residents if they can put some sand or not even put their garbage where the ice is, and if they can find a nice spot where it's nice and level and without snow or ice, and it'll just make our job a lot safer.
Since November 1st, more than 100 Edmonton Postal employees have suffered ice-related injuries. That's a 40% increase from last winter.
The long wait for room on an early morning LRT will soon be getting much shorter. Edmonton Transit has added 4 car trains to its service during peak travel times. A recent upgrade to the overhead power supply made the upgrade possible and will result in an increased capacity of approximately 800 commuters per hour.
If you're waiting for an LRT, you would have seen a 4-car and then a 3-car, and it would have continued on like that all day long. Now you're going to see consecutive 4-car trains. We said we'd deliver, and the guys have completed the work, so rush hour should be a lot better for people in the morning.
The plan for late 2012 will also see the addition of another 20 cars in preparation for the opening of the NAIT train lines in 2014.
Some dog owners are a little nervous to take their pets to one of Edmonton's off-leash dog parks. There were reports of animals getting sick after visiting Laurier Park. One dog owner told police his dog was poisoned, possibly from rotten meat. Others who use the park believe dogs should never be out of sight, even in off-leashed areas.
But it's a very good area, and most people, as I say, have the dogs on leash, except on the off-leash. So dogs pick up things. You do not know what they're going to eat. Most dogs will eat almost anything.
Police say the concern was valid, but there was not enough evidence for a full investigation. Dog owners are advised to keep a close eye on their pets in the area until further notice.
A recent report by Statistics Canada shows Alberta is leading the country, creating new jobs opportunities. That was the talk this past week as leaders in various industries gather to show off new products and discuss changes in the industry. The construction industry will be most affected by the increase. However, the real estate market will show effects as well. Shay Ergel sees the influx in job opportunities affecting real estate, but not as drastic as other industries.
As oil picks up, as construction picks up, as immigration to Alberta picks up, I would imagine more people will rejoin the real estate industry, and there will be a greater increase in realtors and appraisers and mortgage brokers and so forth.
Close to 14,000 jobs were created in the past month, lowering our unemployment rate to 5.7%.
Community members of Boyle Street released a book of poetry to the public during Boyle Street's first ever book launch this past week. The Shadows in the Streets book is written by inner-city Boyle Street survivors, filled with a compilation of poems of life experiences and hardships of the homeless. Michael, formerly homeless, shared an emotional selection from the book written after the death of his father.
You are my hero. You make me laugh. You make me cry. You came to me when life was zero, and never once have I asked you why. Never let go, never walk away.
Boyle Street Community Services and the Literacy Association hopes this 30-page book will inspire and encourage other homeless citizens to change their lives.
Elementary students were able to take on the role of teacher this week, demonstrating math skills through space and science-themed games. Students of Archbishop Joseph McNeil School were reaching for the stars through interactive games at their first annual math fair. This is the first math fair with the largest variety of student participants the school has seen. Each 6th grade student presented a science-themed exhibit in a unique, interactive way.
My game is called Rocket Battle. It's sort of like Battleship, but we made it with rockets instead of ships.
As a 6th grade teacher, Brooke Kuntz prepared students over the past month for the all-day math and science event.
You get so much out of the experience of putting this kind of thing on for a school, especially a school this big, to be able to participate from kids from kindergarten all the way to grade 9, and so it's very rewarding.
After the successful turnout, Archbishop Joseph McNeil will be holding another math fair next year.
One of the largest children's festivals in Canada will be celebrating 30 years of inspiring children's imaginations. This year's festival will see 89 shows on 9 stages, representing 9 different countries around the world. The Italian act Il Circo's Viaggio will be one of the headlining performances this year. It's a show that will defy gravity and is sure to create memories that will last a lifetime. And that's not all.
Face painters, airbrush tattoo artists, and balloon artists will complement the main stage shows while engaging and interacting with children.
Since its first year, more than 1 million children have attended the festival. The festival runs from May 31st to June 4th. You can get complete festival details at childfest.com. Coming up after the break, the city has started seminars to inform people about the changes in our environment.
Edmonton is taking steps to help our city learn about our carbon footprint.
Have kind of a big sprawling McMansion kind of thing with large floor area.
And the actions you can take to prevent hearing loss.
Put the volume on your MP3 player or iPod as loud.
Coming up in sports, I try and stop one of these. Great.
The City of Edmonton has launched the first of a monthly series of seminars.
They're designed to inform people about changes in the environment. The series kicked off discussing current environmental issues and how they relate to Edmontonians. A main topic of discussion was global warming and what we can do to minimize our carbon footprint.
The kind of house you buy in terms of, is it a very efficient house, energy efficient house, or do you have kind of a big sprawling McMansion kind of thing with large floor area that takes a lot of energy to heat, and so on. This is probably your most important decision then in terms of the environment.
Other ways to minimize your carbon footprint include using a thermos instead of a plastic water bottle, traveling with friends or coworkers instead of alone, and making the switch to energy-efficient light bulbs.
Well, it looks like spring might finally be upon us here.
I guess Sarah has more with us with weather. Sarah?
Yeah, it is the first full weekend of spring, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Over in Calgary, it is a low of -4 and a high of +2 with a 30% chance of flurries. And in Jasper, it's a low of -5 with a high of +7, and it's going to be cloudy. In Fort McMurray, it's a low of -7 and a high of +5, and it'll be sunny. Here in Edmonton, it's a low of -3 with a high of +1, and it will be partly cloudy. Average temperatures in Edmonton is high of +7 and a low of -3. Record low in 1899 was a -21 and a record high 1930 with +17. Like I said, it is the first full weekend of spring, but it doesn't feel like it.
Weather brought to you by NR92.
What are you guys planning to do?
Well, this weekend, not much planned actually. Might try to take advantage of the nice weather.
I have a jacket that I cannot wait to get into, but I don't know if it's warm enough for that yet.
Not quite.
Thanks very much, Sarah.
Thanks.
Hearing loss is not an issue that many young people worry about.
Students don't realize the complications that can arise from neglecting to take proper care of their ears. Our Kendall Guiney has more on that story.
Students are constantly exposing themselves to sounds that can temporarily or permanently damage their hearing. Sarah, a worker at the NAIT campus bar, comments on the noise level of working in this type of atmosphere.
After years of working in the bar, you tend to get used to it, and you're not around it all the time. It's just a couple hours a night.
A lot of students have this mentality, completely unaware that spending even a few hours in a concert, club, or listening to their iPod can hurt them.
Since the volume control on most iPods doesn't show the volume in decibels, students are unaware of the damage that they could be doing to their ears.
Decibels are the units that sound is measured by. Ordinary speech is measured at 60 decibels. Experts say that noise louder than 75 is when damage starts to occur. If you are going to be spending extended time around loud noises, experts advise wearing earplugs or protectors. Don't turn the volume up as loud as it is able to go. Keep it at a reasonable level. Another way to protect your ears is by investing in custom headphones. Hearing aid practitioner Alina comments on why custom headphones are a great choice.
They're more expensive, but they are custom to personal ears, so everybody has a different kinds of ears, and that way you don't have to put the volume on your MP3 player or iPod as loud.
Once damage is done to the ears, it is irreversible. If students are experiencing hearing loss now, it will only worsen as they age. Although hearing aids are an option, take the precautions and get tested now to avoid any problems later on. I'm Kendall Guiney for NAIT NewsWatch.
Dallin's now joining us for sports. Hi, Dallin.
Good day.
Dallin, 7 and 11 last year for the Eskimos. What's this year looking like?
Well, they've kept Ricky Ray. They got a 3-year contract, but they got rid of a lot of players. I got more of that coming up in sports. What do you do when you host a big event like the Grey Cup and your team isn't even playing? Well, for the Edmonton Eskimos, they take the old cliche out with the old in the new very literally. In the last couple of weeks, the Eskimos have either traded or released a bunch of their old players to make room for their new ones.
The Eskimos need to get younger. We need to improve our Canadian content. And it's no secret that some of those older players carried bigger salaries. So
Jameson also mentioned that potentially 40% of the players who finished the year with the Eskimos won't be coming back. Have you ever wanted to be an all-star athlete? Well, for a select few basketball players, they had that chance earlier this week. Monday through Wednesday, NAIT hosted the 2011 All-Star City Basketball Game. 80 high school students, 40 girls and 40 boys from all over Edmonton were selected to show off their skills and play with the best. Clayton Krellin was honored to be one of the men's coaches and was surprised to see players who usually play against each other work so well together.
It was really interesting to see a lot of good players come together and click so quickly, which is always good, and we play to win every game, so it was good.
Don Phillips, NAIT men's basketball coach, believes this event is a great opportunity for players now and in the future.
It's just nothing but a win-win situation for the student athlete. They get to, the high school student athlete, they get to come here and play on the floor. They're exposed to the campus.
The Oilers may have not made it to the playoff and probably more focused on getting draft picks, but the other Oil in town claimed a playoff spot in the WHL. The Edmonton Oil Kings decided to do a 3-day practice before heading off to Red Deer yesterday to face off against the Rebels in the first round of playoffs. In the Eastern Conference, the Oil Kings finished 7th overall while the Rebels came 2nd. Coach Derek Laxall sees this as a great learning period for the team.
It's playoffs. The regular season's over. It's a chance for our kids to gain some great experience going to the playoffs. And we're obviously the underdog against Red Deer, who had 104 points in the regular season. But that's what playoffs are all about. You never know what can happen until you play the games.
The man leading the team to playoff is Captain Mark Pezic, who's played 63 games this season with 40 points.
The last 2 games we played Red Deer was really intense games, a lot of physical play. So I think everybody's excited to get into the playoffs again.
The Oil Kings will play 2 games in Red Deer, followed by 2 games at Rexall Place on Monday the 28th and Thursday the 31st. Now, I've been playing hockey since I was 4 years old, but never as a goalie. In this week's End Zone Challenge, I took a stance between the pipes.
I've seen goalies put on their equipment over 1,000 times, so I figured it must be pretty easy, until my coach showed up and told me otherwise.
Yeah, you guys are pads on their own way.
I got Graham Harrington with me from the NAIT Ooks hockey team. He's originally their starter goalie, and he's going to teach me how to stop pucks.
There's different ways you can do it. There's the old stand-up style, where you try and stay on your feet as much as possible. That's not really used anymore. And then you can look at the straight-up butterfly goaltender.
I think Graham was going to enjoy this a little more than I was, because he started with a rapid fire right off the start. What you don't see is I save all 5 shots with an amazing toe save at the end. What you do see is this.
What's your tip for getting it in the mesh and not my hand?
The best thing you can do is just follow the puck into your glove with your eyes. That's the best really trick, is to track the puck with your eyes all the way till it hits your glove.
Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. Oh!
After making a few saves, I started feeling like the next Carey Price. Until we did a shootout, then I started feeling myself again. But I did manage to save a few.
That's been this week's End Zone Challenge. Hey, I caught that.
Well, Dallin, it looks like you were getting slapped around a bit there.
I had some style, though, and some flair. Come on.
I'm guessing for now you're probably going to stick to being a forward?
Yeah, I think I might just do that.
Thanks very much.
Dallin.
Thanks, guys.
Coming up after the break, a safe way to get to your vehicle later at night.
We take a look at a program helping students feel safe when leaving school.
SafeWalk is a safe and reliable alternative to walking home alone at night.
Coming up in entertainment,
We are at the Emmons Collectible Toy and Comic Book Show.
Hair for NAIT NewsWatch personalities, sponsored by Carriel Salon and Spa.
For some, walking home alone late at night is a scary thought.
SafeWalk is a volunteer-based program that provides free walks home around the campus community. Jamila and I had the chance to help the team out.
SafeWalk is a safe and reliable alternative to walking home alone at night. So we'll walk you to your car, on the bus or LRT with you, or to your residence as long as it's within our boundaries.
Once the official jackets were on, we were ready to take on our first SafeWalk customer. But we wanted to know what else we needed to be a SafeWalk volunteer.
The only qualification really is that you're able to walk and that you can attend training. Yeah, we do background checks on people and we provide all of the training.
The next step was to patrol the area until we received a dispatch call with the coordinates of the first SafeWalker.
Determine library by the Starbucks as soon as possible, over.
The SafeWalk volunteers make what they call a SafeWalk sandwich to ensure maximum safety while walking people home. The last step is to make sure the vehicle or surrounding area is clear before they drive to their next destination.
Well, Brad, I hear that the Citadel's new season is right around the corner.
Yeah, it looks like they've actually got something for everyone. We've got Graham McCann right now with entertainment.
It's been an exciting week for entertainment as the Citadel Theatres released what's coming up for the 2011-2012 season. The artistic director of the Citadel held a display of what's in store, and it looks to be an eclectic lineup with something for everyone.
If you're just a theatre goer and you want to go to the occasional kind of popular fare like Sound of Music or Christmas Carol, we've certainly got that for you. And if you're a risk taker, you can come to our Rice series and see some of the newest, most cutting-edge theatre in the country.
Some of the more innovative shows include Penny Plain, a tale about an apocalypse seen through the experience of a blind woman, and Blind Date, where the lone actress takes a random man from the audience to be her co-star for the whole improvised play. Go to citadeltheatre.com to see the full lineup. Performing arts students at Victoria High School got tips and inspiration straight from an acclaimed Broadway star. Tony Award winner Ben Vereen spoke to the young performers to help guide them on their choice to infuse art into their life.
Because art cannot be suppressed. It's going to make its way.
Vereen also took 2 students on stage to watch them perform and to give a thorough critique in front of their peers.
The simplest question hit the deepest part inside of me and brought out so much more than I could have ever imagined.
The students also added that his appearance alone instilled confidence.
Yes, he's done all these big things, but he's human and so am I, and that's great. Like, let's hope that you can do that too.
Vereen won a Tony Award for the play Pippin and was on the television miniseries Roots. Not a fan of the stage? Well, then you might have been at the 2011 Edmonton Collectible Toy and Comic Show. The Shaw Conference Center was packed last weekend as there were many reasons to spend a day at the show.
It's just really creative and interesting. There's lots of interesting people at these sort of events.
Including LeVar Burton, aka Geordie LaForge.
I love connecting with fans. What a lot of people don't understand is, before I became a member of the Star Trek family, I was a fan myself. I read a lot of science fiction books when I was growing up.
And some favorite characters, or at least people dressed like them.
I enjoy wearing costumes. I make my costumes, and I come here every year.
Some went the more permanent route with tattoos. With a multitude of displays, art, and artists, the event was a success and will be returning in 2012. Some people have pretty interesting childhoods, but after you've seen Hannah, most upbringings might seem dull. Hannah stars Saoirse Ronan as a young girl who lives a secluded life with her father, an ex-CIA agent played by Eric Bana hiding in Europe, who has raised his daughter to be a killer. Trained to have the wits and skill of an elite soldier, Hannah is finally sent out in the world on a mission.
I'm ready.
All you have to do is flip that switch.
Come and find me.
His enemy, played by Cate Blanchett, is a ruthless CIA agent who will stop at nothing to find him. But the plan is to have Hannah captured instead to get close.
Heller was gone, but we found this kid.
To carry out her mission and kill her father's enemy.
It's okay.
Now Hannah is both hunter and hunted in a world unfamiliar to her, as a person socialized to kill. Directed by Joe Wright, the movie has a fairy tale and dreamlike atmosphere where Hannah explores the world, empathy, and questions her training to realize the value of life, and ultimately fights to have a peaceful one.
I tried to prepare you.
You didn't prepare me for this.
Hannah is in theaters on April 8th. That movie is actually expected to be very good. It has some very positive early write-ups.
Thanks a lot, Graham. Well, that's all for this week's show, and talk to you later.
You can visit us online at naitnewswatch.ca. Have a great evening.